I will call the meeting to order. And because we have people waiting, maybe we'll go straight to item 2 and circle back to approving the minutes, if that's all right.
Yep.
And since I'm on phone, I can't see your faces to nod.
I'm sorry. So you have no visual, Joyce?
No, I'm dialed in. It was the only way I could do it. I could not get in any other way. I was trying every which way.
Okay.
So that's two of us with no visual.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I do have things printed out and whatnot, so I should be all right. So we have, someone said we have a guest. Is it the woman regarding the falconry request?
Oh, I wonder if she's having issues too. No, I don't see another person other than Tim Litt on the participant list.
Okay. So
Do we know why Tim Litt is here, if we're moving our schedule around?
I don't.
Why not?
No, I just, of
Oh,
course, why
was
not?
he
Everyone
here? I
is
don't think
always
he's
welcome.
here. Yeah, I'm not sure he's. Oh, no particular reason. He's just sitting in. He just chatted. Thank you, Tim.
Oh, okay. So I thought maybe we had someone waiting for the falconry discussion because I invited her to join, but then we don't need to switch the order, so we can start with approving the minutes. So thank you, Jenny, for sending those out. Does anyone have any corrections or edits?
Oh, Joyce, don't you have to read the notice or something?
No, you don't have to read it anymore. She's all set.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We do need to do a roll call attendance, I think.
Oh, okay. So I'll do a roll call. Sorry, I forgot about that. So Jenny?
Here.
Freddie?
Here?
Kat?
Here.
Bella?
Here.
Great. And Joyce Greenleaf Chair, I'm also here. So I did call the meeting to order, and we can move on to looking at the minutes from last time. That was our December 7th meeting, which Jenny sent out a couple of days ago. Is there any corrections or edits?
No, but I'll send Jenny what's highlighted in yellow that indicates an attachment needs to go along with the minutes. So she's already reminded me. Send that off to her now.
But that doesn't impact the minutes themselves. It's just what needs to be attached, correct?
Correct.
Right. I'll just remove the highlighting. Yeah.
So I make a motion to approve the minutes from December 7th, 2021.
Thank you, Freddie. Can I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. And I'll do the roll call for the vote.
That was
Jenny?
Bella. Sorry, that was Bella.
Yes, that was me.
Okay. Getting used to your voice.
It's okay.
Yes, this is Jenny. I'm in favor.
Freddie?
In favor?
Kat?
In favor.
Bella?
In favor.
And I'm in favor. The motion passes. Okay, now we can move on to the request for falconry. I heard from see if I that original email up. Melissa also there is a licensed I guess it's a licensed kind of thing. You have to have a license to be in falconry. And there's a woman in town who is a licensed Massachusetts falconer, and she has a juvenile red-tailed hawk through the winter months, and is requesting to be allowed to release it and kind of work with it at Breakneck Hill so that it can be released back to the wild in the spring when weather conditions are better for a young hawk. So this allows the young hawk to behave in its natural environment in the wild, and give it, and it would allow her to give it opportunities to fly and become strong. And she lives close by. And I did invite her tonight, but no one sees her in the waiting area, right?
No, I'm watching that.
Yeah. So I said, we're a committee, we would talk about it. So does anyone want to raise any questions or concerns about this?
I have some points to make.
Okay, Freddie.
This is Freddie speaking. When I first heard of this, I saw it on the agenda. It sounded like sure, why? It sounds wonderful, right? But I started thinking about it more, and I would not want to say yes until we spoke with the falconer. I don't know enough about falconry, but I did do some research, and even though it's a hawk, it's considered falconry, I think. And you said she has a license, which it's very stringent, so she's done a lot of great work to get that. There are not that many in the state. But some of my concerns are, one, I don't know the difference between being a regular falcon, I don't know the right term, falconry, practicing, versus doing rehab. And there could be a big difference. Certainly we have red-tailed hawks flying around Breakneck Hill hunting, but it's different when you have a managed one, even if it's for rehab. I don't know what that difference is. I haven't had enough time to research, or I put out some emails I haven't heard back. But one of the concerns I have is, well, there's two concerns I just would like to discuss. All of them are, well, one, we don't allow hunting on the property, and falconry is considered hunting. So there's that. And if we'd have to come up with a policy, when do we allow hunting to occur? Because somebody else might want to do, say, trapping. And do we, what process do we have? Second, I'm concerned about the grassland bird nesting season, which you said only in winter, but, would we define that? And thirdly, I'm concerned about if you open it up to falconry for this one time, it seems like it's a sport, like people, even though there aren't that many with the license, that I don't know if once you open it up, would other people say, oh, let's go there? And would that be opening a problem? And I also don't even know if we have the right to say yes or no. Is it just an allowed use? And I think these are all questions that deserve answers to before we make a decision. And I'm not coming at this either for or against. I just think there's questions we need to know more about before we make a decision.
I thought Joyce's email had said this person was a licensed wildlife rehabilitator.
Correct.
No, I didn't mean to say that if I did. And I just went back and reread her email. She didn't use the term rehab. I think I just presumed that when she said she had a juvenile red tail. I figured if she has a juvenile, it's because it's come to her because it's orphaned or something. So I made some presumptions. She calls herself licensed in a licensed
for the license.
Falconer.
Can I jump in?
The term falconer. Yes.
So it's illegal to own a hawk in the state based on the Migratory Bird Act unless you are licensed. And I don't know everything that goes into what requirements and when you can own a hawk. It's wildlife. So the question is, I'd like more information on, and it's not, obviously she's educated. What I read about getting the license, it's not a simple thing. It's a very big deal. But I think we need more information. And I didn't think we understood that this is classified as hunting.
No, I
didn't know until I spent some time on the falconry website.
It's hunting for the purpose of feeding the bird, though, not for.
It's considered hunting as a sport.
Yeah. So does anyone else have comments or questions that they want to raise?
I think it would be good to hear from her. Yeah, I think it would be good to hear from her, I guess, before we make a decision. But I don't know. I guess I don't have a lot of concerns if she is trying to do it to teach this bird to hunt so she can release the bird. But in the springtime, we might want to set like an end, an end date. Like whenever we're getting concerned about the grassland birds being there.
Joyce, do you know for a fact she never said that's why she has this hawk, did she?
Said what?
That it was an injured one she was trying to rehab to release into the wild?
She did specifically state she's rehabbing to release into the wild.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
She's definitely going to release into the wild, but she did not use the language rehab. So hold on a second, and I can read the email more specifically. I was wondering if you could help me with a rather unique request or who to contact about it. I am a licensed Massachusetts falconer and have a juvenile red-tailed hawk through winter months until it can be released back to the wild in spring when weather conditions are more favorable. To allow the hawk to act as closely as possible to its natural behavior in the wild, we as falconers try to give as many opportunities to fly as desired. I was hoping to be able to practice falconry with him at Breakneck Hill Conservation Land, such as very close to where I live, and it would allow me to get out in the field with him easily. Then when I think I wrote back to her, and she gave me a little bit more information that in general, she tries to go out during times of the day when most folks aren't out and about. And let's see, there was another back and forth on email. When flown free, the hawk will follow its natural behavior, which includes hunting small mammals and rodents. In general, red-tailed hawks are not fast or agile enough to hunt smaller birds, especially not a juvenile hawk with barely any hunting experiences. So that is the extent of back and forth that there's been via email with her in advance, and then I told her when the meeting was and would be discussing it. So Freddie laid out 3 concerns.
Also,
And-
the grassland birds are not like other birds because when the babies are babies, they don't fly. They're on the ground. It's not like they're easy picking.
Right. Does anyone else want to raise any question or concern?
I would agree with Jenny on this. Like, I would like to hear what this lady would have to say, like in front of us in a meeting. But like as of now and what she said in the email to you, I don't really have a problem with it if she's just like trying to give this bird some experience.
Thanks, Bella. Kat, did you have anything?
No, I agree with what's been said. Having her here would be a good conversation to have. And I appreciate the concerns that Freddie brought up. And, I hope that we can address all of those in a conversation. I think would be helpful.
Yeah, here's my concern with, and I would very much like to, I was hoping she would be here tonight and that she isn't. And then it would be another month. So she's losing a lot of opportunity to get that bird out there. So I'm just a little feeling like this is the only time we've ever had this request. It's a one-off. I'm just wondering if there's interest in the committee in making some conditions, like
Okay.
not beyond such and so a date because of the grassland nesting birds, and
Yeah, that's a good idea.
We're worried about being a destination for lots of falconers, which we're not sure we're 100% comfortable with. So as a one-off, like, we wouldn't want her to be like thinking this is a regular thing, but like I would be inclined to set conditions and allow it for this winter as a one-off. But I hear the point around it's considered hunting, which we don't allow. It does seem a little bit of a stretch for me, but I mean, if that's what it's considered, that's what it's considered. But what do people think about setting some conditions?
I like that idea. I think it's a great way to move forward. I forgot we're in January. I thought we were still in December.
So one of the things to be a falconer, you have to have a hunting license. So that's what sort of tied it to me closer to hunting. And it also used the term hunting.
Mm-hmm. But this does seem different than normal falconry. I mean, it has a different purpose.
And
I mean, I definitely like the idea of setting some conditions as well.
I mean,
And
we
one
could
of them
still
means
invite
you have
her.
to invite me. One of the conditions, you have to invite me.
I guess my other point is there's other places around that allow hunting. So it may not be as convenient.
What?
Mass Wildlife has properties.
Yeah.
I told her, I did share that information with her, Freddie. I did let her know that. I don't know if she pursued it or not. But I did let her know that. And I know when she originally reached out to Melissa, she had also been inquiring about the golf course, and I don't know what happened with that. I don't know, Melissa, if you know.
Oh, Melissa had to step away. She had to get a test. So
Okay.
I'm going to help just take a look at chat and stuff. Does she have to have an open field? Is that the best environment rather than a long strip of trail next to an open channel with some woods that does allow hunting, for example?
I did not, I didn't ask that question, and unfortunately she didn't come tonight, so I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that.
And so as a takeaway, if she doesn't need a field and she just needs some open space, is it possible, like they allow hunting on the open channel off of Ward Road, for example, and it's a long strip of trail next to, and it's secluded, it doesn't have houses around. There's trees on one side and water on the other.
Westboro has the Mass Wildlife, Fish and Wildlife property with open fields and lots of land. I'm just saying we're not the only place in town. I'm not, and again, I'm not against it but without more info, I had those concerns. And if she's a falconer, she knows other places to go, right?
I don't know if she's ever done it before. I mean, maybe she's. I don't know. I did share with her the information about.
To be a falconer, you have to have years of experience and like be an apprentice. It's not something you just go out and get a license for. It's most likely she has had years of mentoring, and I think from what I read. Again, I'm a quick read, not an expert, but I'm just not sure. So, why did she ask if it's not a big deal? Could have been polite, but it could have been, there's more to it than we're aware of. And it just made me a little, reading the website raised concerns instead of alleviating concerns. How's that?
Yes. So, does anyone want to put forward a motion for voting on this, whether to approve temporary with conditions, or say we deny until she's able to come and speak with us and relay our concerns, which may give her a very, very small window to do this.
Can I propose something before you make the motion?
Well, I didn't think the chair could. Yeah, go ahead.
Propose conditions until our next meeting, and she needs to come in and speak with us.
I'm sorry, I missed this, that you said propose something until the next meeting. What?
Propose, someone could propose to allow it with conditions for the time period between tonight and our next meeting. And then we will make a determination then moving forward. That way she's not prevented from doing it now, but we're not leaving it open, because the conditions we make may be totally inappropriate, not inappropriate, but, you know, may not address the issue. And there may be no need to have conditions. We just don't have enough information, I don't think. So that would be something for a month.
Yeah, because our meetings tend to be about a month apart. So allow until our next meeting, and which time we might would invite her again to come and answer questions.
The other concern I have, we require people to stay on the trails. I don't know what falconry requires her to do to go get the bird back. Will she stay on the trails? Can we make that a part of the condition?
I think the bird flies to her. The bird flies to and from her arm, I think.
I don't know. I never went to one of those workshops.
Yeah, and there is, when there's snow cover, the trail limitation, there is snow right now. I don't know how long it'll be there, but there is snow now. So, does anyone, so that, are you actually making that motion, or?
No, I just was putting it out there as something for the committee to consider.
I would agree with Freddie on that. I definitely think it's good for her to come and speak to us before making a sound decision.
Okay.
I'm cool.
And what do we need in order to make a motion? Do we need to, I guess, decide what the conditions would be right now?
Well, so the conditions, as I understood, Freddie saying that it would be allowing her to conduct falconry there from now until our next meeting, at which time we'd like to talk with her and answer questions and figure out if we wanted to add more conditions or suspend the permission. I don't know, is there any other conditions we should add?
I'd ask her to submit her license to Beth and you.
Oh, to Melissa?
I'm sorry, to Melissa. And
yep, we can make that a condition.
So to clarify, because there's just a little mumbled, you would allow her to be there until our next meeting? Is that?
Until she could come to a meeting and answer our, till the next meeting, which we would expect her to be able to attend and answer questions.
Okay, so
we
not
also state. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Should we also state, in any case, no later than April 1st, in case for some reason we couldn't meet again? Which is when the birds start arriving.
Yeah.
So, forgive me, I don't understand. So are we not allowing it until she comes to a meeting, or we are allowing it?
We are allowing it on a temporary, like a temporary allowance. If she
until our meeting in February.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just having a hard time hearing. Yep.
But in any case, no later than April 1st, if for whatever reason we couldn't meet in February, or, you know, to provide a license to Melissa and Joyce, and to stay on the trails at all times except for when there's snow cover.
So do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I second. And that's Bella.
Thank you, Bella. I'll do a roll
Thanks.
call. Jenny,
In favor?
Freddie,
Aye.
Pat,
Yes.
Bella,
Yes.
and I am also in favor. The motion passes. Okay.
Wait, so was that
So-
everybody? Was that everybody in favor?
Yes.
No, I'm not in favor.
Oh,
Okay.
wait.
Okay, Freddie was not in favor.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, the next item is the rules for signs. I mean, all the signage stuff. Thank you, Kat, for sending that around. So we have some nice design work, and these are the signs we've been talking about for a variety of purposes, some of which can be paid for with the choke fund. Pat, do you want to talk us through the decision points on these?
Yes.
And I hope everyone got them and was able to take a peek.
Yeah, and I'm sharing screen for those who do have visual. Okay. And can you see it? Jenny? Bella, can you see it? Okay. Okay, great. So, yeah, thank you,
Yes.
Joyce, for your time. We had a good meeting and discussed, and she sent some great language. So the first sign we have up, it starts with welcome. It's we hope you enjoy your visit to Breakneck Hill Conservation Land, open dawn to dusk for Joyce and Freddie's purposes. And it continues to read, it's just while you enjoy the visit, please, park in designated areas, stay on the trails unless there's snow cover, keep dogs under control, remove all dog litter. The following are prohibited: campfires, alcohol, littering and dumping, ATVs, bikes and horses, hunting, trapping, trespassing after dark, drones, model planes, rockets, removing plants, wood, soil, or animals. And the very bottom just says any questions about exemptions from any rules should be submitted to the Southborough Stewardship Committee with a QR code. Now, currently this QR code does not work, but our visitor, Tim Litt, has a QR code generator that he has offered to allow the Stewardship Committee to use. Thank you very much, Tim. So we can generate, yeah, it was really nice of him, and he made it himself, so mad skills. And so we can that will just link to our website or wherever you want it to link, and our website should probably have the same rules on it, would be the concept. And we did just, I'll stop it. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's fine. Go, you can finish, Kat.
Just one last piece. Oh yeah, so I guess we're not there yet for where we got permission from. So I'll stop there and see if there's any comments on this sign.
So one thing that came to my attention, the other sign that we'll talk about next says keep dogs on trails, and this one says keep dogs under control, and I think it should probably say keep dogs on trails and under control at all times. I mean, I don't think we can have everything on the other dog sign to squeeze in on this one, but I think we can say keep dogs on trails and under control at all times on this sign. So I had that in mind.
Yep.
Wait, so is this the second example that we're seeing right now?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm trying to zoom so I can see more of the screen. There we go. Yeah, so I'm going back to the first one. So where we say here,
Oh,
dogs
under
under control at all times, we need to say keep on trails and under control at all times.
Yeah.
On both signs, as much as we can be consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's hard to have everything on the second sign incorporated, but I think like, because they'll be very close to each other probably in how we put them out, but I think I think that definitely could be added.
Got it. I've noted that. Thank
I
you.
would support that, this is Freddie. I've had people who don't get, that they go, well, I'm on the trail. And I said, but your dog needs to be also, as they're hunting whatever is in the grassland.
Yes, and I thought we might have another guest, so please continue to keep an eye, Cat. Someone emailed about a dog recently on the trails who was jumping on her, and it was a very uncomfortable situation, and was looking for, posted rules and more attentiveness to the requirements for dogs. And so it's good timing that we're getting to this, to get these up there.
On this sign, before you move on, I don't know if there was more about the dogs, but I had another point.
Okay.
Okay,
I
Freddie?
believe last time when we talked at our last meeting, I believe I recommended that the link, somewhere on it, it says go to for all the rules, because my understanding, the situation I ran into with the rocket and there's some rules posted, but not everything. And he went to the website. So I think somehow we have to acknowledge that there are the full list of rules, even if right now they're the same set we have now. There's a possibility in the future we could add new rules and that aren't on the sign, and you want to be covered that the full set of rules resides on the Conservation Commission website or on our website or something.
Okay, so that's a good point. So the QR code could be one way to do that, but if you don't have a QR reader, it's not going to help you. So then I think what we need is the full URL written out, http://www.stewart, the rest of it will be written out at the bottom of the sign.
Right. I think, and I want to say, I think the sign's really nice, and nothing jumped out at me, but who knows in the future, we're not going to be changing these signs in the next decade or so, right?
Yeah. Okay. That works.
I hope not. So at the bottom now, it says any questions about exemption should be submitted to, our committee, but maybe it also needs a little language that, because there could be updates and things for a full set of rules, visit, like maybe we just adjust that bottom text. So hopefully it,
Maybe make it smaller.
Yeah.
Well, so it accomplishes both those goals. Maybe we can play with the wording a little bit.
Yep. That sounds good. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if there's, did you want to talk, Kat, about where we had in mind for this particular sign?
I do.
We just
yes.
finished the sign before we talk about placement. I just had one more thing on the sign.
Yeah.
Campfires. Campfires is a bit concerning because people say, well, that's not a campfire.
Oh, so just fires?
Just fires. Yeah.
Okay.
What's that word? Incendiary devices? We don't have guns outlawed, is it? Hunting
Well, I
and trapping
assume
is there,
guns must be on the full list, right?
I've never seen a list with the word gun on it.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, do you think we have to say guns?
I'm not saying we should. I'm just
Gun
throwing
is
it out there that
implied.
it's not there.
What's that, Bella?
I feel like gun is implied with hunting. Like I don't think you need to specify that.
Yeah, I think it's.
I think it needs to be on the full list. I think, do we allow archery? Or could be doing archery just as a sport?
Well, wouldn't archery be considered hunting as well?
Well,
Not if you're aiming at a target.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Well-
I think, we may want to, I'm not saying you have to put everything here. I think you say fires, not campfires. And I think.
You're saying to add those other things to the full list.
Yeah, make sure they're on the full list.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't have any problem with saying no to archery and guns. I just get worried when we end up like things that we're not aware have been issues there, and just adding, like it's a lot. It could be a really long list.
Well, as long as that long list is on the website and not the sign.
Yeah,
That might be helpful.
Yeah,
Where it's
and
easier to change.
I may be a little bit more sensitive because of the exchange twice with the same man about the rockets with
Right.
gunpowder.
Mm-hmm.
And, so having it on the town's website post, all it can say is the full list of rules are posted on the Conservation Commission's website.
Yep.
There's a
anything-
space issue.
Oh, yeah, you're saying between
There's
two
what?
of the bullets?
Yeah, you see that?
Yes, I do.
Bugs me.
I'm not sure. I'm just questioning, why do we need to advertise the exemptions? To say the full list of rules.
Yeah, but
And for any questions or comments, yeah.
Yeah, for any questions or comments, yeah. Yeah, that's good.
okay.
And the full list of rules. And then that could be the QR code, and you could put the website if you want, but I mean, you could shorten that up a little bit. I don't want to wordsmith it now, and I have to say overall, the sign is really well done and
Yeah.
clear, and you don't want to mess with that.
Yeah, and Joyce thought green was a good color because it's very friendly and approachable. The problem we're gonna have is matching the green to the green background of the kiosk. Because if it's not the right green, it's gonna look weird, and I myself have a problem with that. I don't know about you.
But we can make it just white too. White. with
Isn't this a
green text.
standalone sign?
Well, I think we were gonna put this one on the kiosk as a proposal, put this one on the kiosk. Actually, were we gonna do on both locations, Joyce? One on the kiosk and one at the Beecology? We were gonna install a new post because the Beecology, next to Beecology, those posts are really small, they're short. And so your sign gets kind of lost at your knee. So if we install a post, we can put both of these signs, the rule sign, and then the dog sign was the proposal. So one, and then on the on the main parking, the trailhead, this would go on the kiosk, and the friendly dog sign would go on the post on the way into the trails. Does everyone recognize what I mean by all that? Is that right,
Yeah.
Joyce?
Well, that's what we talked about, but we're open to other ideas. I mean,
That was
for a committee. That was what we were talking about, or even having one of each on the kiosk and both at both trailheads. I mean,
The thing,
we can.
my experience is people don't go and read the kiosk. I know we have a new kiosk and maybe they'll read it more often, but people just walking in, it's nice to have the rules there, but
Well,
I
I
don't
think
know that it hurts.
Yeah, I think what is the purpose of the kiosk if we're not going to put the rules on it? I agree with you that not everyone's going to go up there. They kind of bypass it. The first few people will because it is new. But I think we could probably feel comfortable. The trailhead is pretty close to the entrance of the trail. So I don't feel like it's going to get lost, like it's out far away, if we did choose to put the rules on the kiosk and then the friendly dog sign on the posts going into the trails, rather than, because then what else is going to go on the kiosk?
Well, I agree with your point, but I don't think you want to have the rules lost to the majority of people because we think they should go read the kiosk.
Yeah, well, can we have?
Where are
them
they going to
both?
see the rules?
Well,
Can we
I
have it
think-
at both places?
No, people at what was that, Joyce?
I was suggesting we could just print an extra sign and have it at both places. Could be on the
Okay.
kiosk and on the post.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think there's any, well, I'd rather have it in more places. Like, I don't want to have sign pollution, but I also don't want to have a kiosk without something on it. So.
right.
Yeah.
and
No,
I
it
think it's
seems
an
like it-
appropriate
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree that it should be on the kiosk. And if we want it also on the trailhead post, then sure.
Yeah.
So would the
Yeah.
sign that we put on the trailhead post be like a printed laminate versus an official aluminum printed? Or do you want it?
Well,
both?
the laminate could be the kiosk if we wanted, not the post. The post would be more the,
Because it's protected.
yeah.
And I think now that we have the beautiful kiosk, we can, after we get through this amazing project we're looking at now, we can look at doing more interactive information on the kiosk that will draw more people there.
Yeah.
I think a nice.
Yeah, maybe something seasonal, like some seasonal thing. This is what's in bloom now, or this is,
Yeah.
you know, what you might see, or look out for this. We've been seeing this rare bird or whatever.
I think it'd be nice to have a nice laminated, large, now it's a map of the property, not of the trails, right? Because the trails move. So if we had a laminate of the property, just as the bound, you know, just so people know what they're looking at from an overview. And then it would kind of be fun if we had like movable lines so we could draw, and you know, the trails could move as they need to move. But otherwise, like, I feel like Breakneck has always kind of been missing a map. There's a map, but I don't know if it's a if it's a core map of the trails. And most people who walk Breakneck know the area, but it would be nice to have some sort of reference point like that, whatever that may be.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
I think that's a great idea. Although I don't know why we wouldn't put the trails on, like how hard would it be to make a new map if we changed trails? My experience is in 20 years, we've only changed a couple of trails.
Oh, okay. That's great.
Not
then.
something, it's not something we do often.
All right. I thought we reroute for, you know, just rehabilitation, and sometimes we close trails and different things. But yeah, I think that's great. If we could put trails up there, I'm all for a map.
Yeah, when we close trails or reroute, it's only for a situation, and it's right adjacent to the existing trail. We've never like,
Right.
we had a couple of big ones when we, you know, when we got more of the south pasture available, we moved a trail.
Yep.
To expand the grassland habitat, and we had gotten rid of a cross section trail that really was degrading to the habitat.
Yeah.
And some of the trails are, you know, well, there's at least one or two that are like roads. So I think I'd love to see a nice trail map there, Kat.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll make sure we get to that too. Should we talk about the next? Is there any more conversation about that first sign on the welcome sign?
Oh, I have one thing. This is super picky, but you can reject it if you want. I just thought it was a little weird to say while enjoying your visit after you just said, we hope you enjoy your visit. So you could just say during your visit.
Oh, I like it.
Oh, sure.
Forest for the trees. Good input.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anything else on that, or we'll move on? And if you do, just chime in. Okay, so we talked about this.
I think you did a nice job making it sound welcoming when it's a list of rules.
Yes, Joyce came up with the language. Thank you, Joyce. That was really friendly language.
Yes, and it looks very nice, like just, you know, very pleasing to the eye and professional. So good job.
Great.
That was Kat.
You could, because there's space around, you could play with the welcome more if you wanted, but aside from that.
This, yeah, make it, yeah, I agree.
But it's really nice, I think.
And
okay, so the next one is about the dogs. Are we ready to move on about the next one?
I think so. And just to recap, we were thinking 8.5 by 11 for the size and aluminum. Does that work for everybody's?
If we can have the fonts at the size they need to be and whatnot.
Yeah, we would talk with the vendor and make sure that they would have some, you know, some experience with the font size and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this next sign was specific to dogs and was like we said, trailhead post and on the community garden side. This first sentence was Joyce had taken, I think you had found it on the SVT site or some literature that the SVT had. So I reached out to Dan Stimson, who's the assistant director of stewardship, and asked him if we could use this text as well as their map of the town forest in our materials. And I modified their map a little bit, which we'll talk about later. And we got permission to do both. So we're good there.
Yeah, so can everyone see that language and this language?
I can read it.
It's not exactly what's in the other one, but it's pretty close. I actually have it printed out, so I'm good, but I don't know if other people
I'm
are
seeing
the
it on
same.
I can see it on my screen,
Okay.
on my
Great.
phone.
Yep.
I had a question.
Yep.
Are the QR codes the same QR code or are they individual? Could this go to a page on our website about dogs?
They can be, it can be one, or it can be the same QR code, or we could have a different QR code. So for example, if we wanted a specific page dedicated, which is a great idea, on the stewardship site to have a page dedicated to dog waste, reasons why you want to clean up after your pet, some educational materials. There's tons of things we could link to, the Bark Ranger stuff, you know, any of those materials. We could have this QR code link to that web page and include the URL as we've mentioned above, so that people don't need a QR code reader. They can just type in the link if they would do so.
So that would be my preference, because I don't think I want to send people who are looking for information about dogs to
Yep.
all the rules and then they have to wade through it. I think it would be really nice to, if you're talking about dogs, let's just get there.
Yep, good point.
Yeah, and you know, when Kat and I were talking about these signs and doing our research and whatnot, I ended up also at the town of Weston's conservation site, and they had some really great stuff about dog waste that was, you know, informational and whatnot, that would be nice to have, even like good educational information like that also to whatever this QR code would link to.
That's, you know, and we could link to the Weston site. A lot of different organizations and web pages enjoy it when you link to and from them. It helps their ratings in the search engine optimization, you know, in Google and stuff. So we could always link to other towns and such, as well as a resource page.
Would we need to ask them if it's okay to link to them, or like kind of a heads up, or?
Joyce? I don't know.
No, if it's public, it's public.
Yeah, I guess I would think it would be weird though if I was just, I would think that it was a mistake if I was clicking on something about the town of Southborough and I ended up in another town.
Well, I mean, if we clarified, I hear you. So if this doesn't work out, that's fine. But we could say, you know, the town of Weston has some great resource material. Here's a link to their site, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if we don't want to do that, not gonna, what did they say? I'm not gonna die on that hill. I've heard that like 15 times this week.
I understand the intent. I'm sorry, I have a little bit of a delay here. Didn't mean to interrupt. I understand the intent, but it's always best to keep people on your own website. So whatever information we want, we should try to make it our own on our own page. Because then you go to Weston and then you start, you know, next thing you know, you're hiking Weston trails and not focusing on Southborough.
Well, hey, that's actually, let's share the pain. The dog waste pain.
Well, if they have a dog park, we can send people there, but then they might share us. So that was, you know, that happened too. We got in the Metro West Daily News as a good place to go bring your dogs.
Glad I wasn't around then, or I would have gotten blamed for that one. Because I might have made that snafu. Go ahead, Trace.
Kat, for this sign, I can download the Shutterstock saying, if you send me the like, usually they have a little ID or something.
Yeah, so that's a good decision point. So I proposed this image. I thought it really captured what we want them to do. You have a dog, we're implying that we want them on a leash, whether we can say it or not. And they are picking up the poop and they're putting it in a trash can. So that image kind of took all of those things and put it into one. So I'm going to just flip the screen to the next page, and here's some other images that kind of, related to it, if they resonated with you guys a little bit more.
Let me, I'm scrolling. Is this the one with somebody holding a dog and bending over, picking up poop on the second row?
Yes. Yep.
I like the one with the person standing up that you had up above, Beth.
Yeah. Okay. And then we're thinking 8.5 by 11, also aluminum for these signs too. And so 4 locations, this sign can be used at Town Forest. So 1 post going into Breakneck Hill at the trailhead, 1 at the Ecology Garden, and 2 at the Town Forest, which would be 1 at Woodland Road, and actually, so 1 at Woodland Road and 1 at the cul-de-sac, I think. I'm not sure if that's going to be exactly right, because I think wherever we have a map board, so we might not need those signs at those locations, because when I have a map board, we put the same dog rules on the map board, so we don't need a sign that duplicates the same message. So I'll have to think about that.
Where's the map board going to be at the forest?
So we'll talk about that shortly. So I'm proposing the map board be at the Bay Path, where the plywood sign is, and it's just been empty for years, and then 1 at the cul-de-sac at Walnut Drive, because the trailhead, the official trailhead that has a couple parking spot, already has an Eagle Scout did a map board years ago before me. So those are the 3 points of entry. Am I missing one?
Can I suggest?
Yeah.
On the Woodland Road, because there are 2 entrances, one with the boardwalk closer to Kidder and the other one at the old Bay Path, and we may be using one or the other depending on what happens with weather. Right where those 2 trails merge.
Yeah.
That far in, I think it's close enough in that having the dog sign there isn't a bad idea.
That's a good idea.
Because one way or the other, you're going to miss the people going in the other entrance.
Yeah.
That's good.
Just a
Good
thought.
idea.
So it's where white meets yellow. Good. So it sounds like people are comfortable with this image, and anything else we want to change up here other than making the rules consistent, making sure that the dog language is consistent on this one and that one.
Maybe at the bottom, the same thing about for a full set of rules, or whatever we're doing on the bottom of the other one.
I know it might be silly. Sorry, it might sound repetitive, but the bottom bullet point, because you have more space there. Do not allow dogs to run toward or jump on.
Since we have space, I guess that is not a problem.
But sometimes it still is a problem because you're using up, there's not enough. In this case, I was going to say white space, but in this case, it would be green space. So I would leave that to but it sort of acknowledges to the people who are upset about getting jumped on that we're trying to address that.
Yep.
Not stop the people who let the dogs jump on people, but at least it's acknowledging that's an issue.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
Anything from anyone else?
So I'll add the concept of a separate web page. I will add it to the educational outreach materials so that we make sure we get that on a checklist and add to resource materials to it.
Yeah, and I'm happy to help with that or work with another steward on some language. I saw some great examples of that when I was poking around the other day with Kat.
That's great. And so if you don't mind, if the stewardship committee doesn't mind, the trails committee would like to keep that message consistent. So whatever we're doing for stewardship, we would like to kind of do the same thing. So we may link to your page or, kind of go back and forth. We'll make sure we're not taking credit for stewardship's work, but making sure that the message and the resource materials are consistent across the committees.
Yeah, the difference is, I think a lot of your trails don't allow dogs.
Correct. Yep.
So we could on the stewardship page, cross-reference whatever information the trails committee comes up with, that be aware that there are trails in town that don't allow dogs or something like that. So we would not be.
Yeah, good idea.
Writing everything you write, but just making that notice, because sometimes people don't, realize they have to pay attention where they're walking.
Right. I think that's awesome. Be aware, some trails in town don't allow them. We could, if they have names, we can name them.
Yeah.
And if you're going, where the second page after that sign is, you had those other visuals. Are we talking about any of those other signs? Because I was wondering if there's any place on the property we could have maybe it's the kiosk, but I was also thinking like a standalone sign that we change depending, like if there's an emergency notice, like when we had the wasp, and it wasn't just sticking a what do you call that when you plastic coat? Laminated, a laminated sign made up. Because I think the how to clean up after your dog, those kinds of signs can have great meaning if they don't stay there nonstop, because they catch your eye when there's something new.
Oh, like a rotation. See, that's what Joyce was referring to, some of and we have a little bit further down, some signs that we'd like to rotate throughout the property. So I like that idea, Freddie, rotating, keeping your kiosk fresh. So, and with color that pop, so that you go there, you're like, I see a pink sign today. I saw a green one last time. Some people aren't going to recognize it, but I like that idea. So having a few.
Well, I like it on the kiosk, but also, and I don't know where this would be, but a standalone sign. Just maybe we don't have to do it now. I like this sign that you just had, that how to pick up after your dog. I think I don't want that to get lost. How to clean up after your dog.
So this might be something, Joyce, you said you had a few Shutterstock options to download. So I'll make sure I get the item code for that one as well.
Yeah. That, I think I have 7 or 8 more free downloads this month.
How awesome is that? Coincidence, universe is watching out for us. Okay.
Yeah, I think the whole idea of rotating those, I think, is like terrific. And we can rotate them on the kiosk and even maybe have some in other places around the, without always keeping in mind we don't want sign pollution.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, I like the idea of rotating them on the kiosk, and that might, like Kat was saying, like if they're a little different, it might draw people's attention more. Just, if they're vaguely noticing something's different and then they go over and look. I'm getting a little bit, hesitant about putting them up in more. I mean, we're already talking about different places where, that we're going to have them on the post at the trailhead and at the community garden. And then certain times of the year, we have like the signs up during nesting season. And it is kind of getting to seem like a lot.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
That's a good point, Jenny. And to clarify what we were referring to about some of the signs later that we wanted to rotate, and that was during like our specific site visit where we're kind of at the kiosk, we're at the trailhead with a table saying, hey, and we marked our poop ways throughout, and we have these like H stake signs. So I don't know that they would stay up for longer than a couple of days, just for the awareness campaign.
Okay.
but Joyce and Freddie could talk to what they were thinking about if the signs throughout the property, if you had different thoughts on timeline on keeping those up, or.
Personally, I like it as part of the campaign and then rotating on the kiosks more so
Okay.
than being on the property, as a matter of regular day-to-day stuff.
And if we see we have an increased problem, maybe we break out the signs, and we sign them.
Yeah, that seems fine. I think someone just said rotating standalone dog signs, and then I was getting a little confused.
Yeah, I think we haven't really talked about that yet.
Okay. Yeah, rotating on the kiosk seems really good and a good use of the kiosk.
My thought on having a dedicated rotational sign capacity was on the post going up the trail.
Okay.
It didn't have to be constant, but you want that capacity because the wasp situation comes to mind. Forget what other situations may come up. There have been some in the past where it's a safety issue. If we close the trail for a reason, there's also
spraying, if we're spraying.
If you get, say the dog waste cleans up a lot, and then all of a sudden starts picking up, not picking up, but being a big problem again. So the experience I have watching people with their dogs, some people just open their car door and have let dogs out, and if they barely walk to they're more likely to see it as they're walking up the property because these people are off. I'm not saying some people are there just to let their dog do their business.
Yeah.
And I think that's the ones we want to, sort of almost like, hey, pay attention. And and I don't think that has to be constant. I don't think it has to be a constant rotational sign there. I agree that the kiosk is the best place for the rotational sign, but it would be nice if we're putting any place to put a sign on a post going up the trail that has the capacity to have some new information when it's needed.
Yeah, and a comment from Tim Litt, he mentioned, since it's a sign, why not include something like, while we welcome dogs on this trail, ... fill in the blank. So I've made a note of that. Thank you, Tim. It's a good way to be inclusive, but let them know to be aware, like you're saying. Okay, how are we with, should we move to the next topic?
Yeah. No, wait a minute. Weren't there more signs?
There are more signs, but these are different types of signs. So this next section is like an H stake yard sign. I think that we had talked about that during our educational campaign, having a few of those kind of strategically positioned throughout the property during our educational campaign to alert people to what we're the message. So this next section, so we did get permission from Weston Conservation Commission. Joyce, you reached out to them to be able to use this next sign. This next three signs.
Yeah, all these three. Yeah, these next three all came from Weston, and we have they sent me we have their permission to use them. They created them, so that's nice.
So my question is, are these part of signs that are going to be funded through the grant that we have to decide on now?
So no, so I did not. So what I have funded in the grant, let me just see, I'm sorry, I'm scrolling fast just to get to the budget quickly because I had it in here. Yeah, so for dogway signs, I had one for Breakneck Hill and one for Town Forest. So if we want to do multiple locations, then I would ask the committee if they have budget to fund those, because the grant only funded one for Breakneck and one for Town Forest for the dog waste. Now, permitted use, I had two for Breakneck and two for Town Forest. So that's 2, 4, 5, 6. So we actually might have funding for most of those. If we decide that the map board for the Town Forest includes enough of the rules, then we might be able to play around with where we put the signs. So it's
and I think,
I guess my question just is, you are going to move on, and I don't want to keep you here unless these signs are are definite the way they are, can we visit them at our next meeting or when we're setting up the outreach?
Well, the first few signs, we would like to go ahead and get sign off for in some way, so we can start printing, because we were gonna.
I'm talking about from the
The-
poop scoop yoga down. Are those needing our review
Right.
now? Because I have comments, but otherwise.
So
if
I
they
think we
don't,
would have
can
enough
get-
space and time in the schedule to punt it for next conversation, to finalize them during
Thank
the
you.
next call. Does that answer? And does that make sense to
Yeah.
you, Joyce?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get as many of them agreed upon as we can. But there's other things on our agenda too, so for that part, yeah, we have more wiggle room, but we wanted to get started. We do want to get some rules up, most definitely.
Okay. So we can go quickly through here then. Everyone's seen the poop scoop yoga sign. So this is a funny, kind approach to letting people know that and it's great. So so that's the one.
I had an issue with it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
The scoop, the poop scoop, the print. It's sitting too much on, there should be some pink between it and I know this is picky, but.
Oh, that whole sign. Yeah, I agree with you. I see what you're saying. I think the sign could use some freshened up or some alignment of the text. Is that what you refer to, Freddie?
Yeah, and I'm not
Yeah.
sure if the one I saw in Concord didn't read better.
Yeah, we can, since we have permission to use this, I think we could probably kind of generate another sign. Joyce, do you think if we did that and we use components of this that we would need to go back to Weston, or do you think Weston?
No, I don't, I mean, he just shared me the file. I don't even remember if it was like PDFs or what. And he's like, oh, good luck with your efforts. So I don't, I think that they were just glad someone found them good looking and of use. So
Okay.
I don't remember what the formatting of it was when I got it. And I don't know how editable it is. And it looks like maybe somebody just used kind of insert shape to make these yoga people as a, like,
Yeah.
as opposed to like downloading an icon or a Shutterstock type thing.
I think this came in Publisher. Is this the one? Does that ring a bell, Joyce?
Oh yeah, because I couldn't do anything with it. So yeah.
So we can recreate then. I feel pretty comfortable. We could recreate it in a way that would work. So does that answer your question, Freddie, and concern?
Yeah, just we can revisit it before you finalize and spend money printing it. I just didn't think it was ready for prime time yet. And I like the other two, even the one that's gross. I think it.
The one that's
makes the
gross
point.
is so gross that I love it. It's so shocking.
I actually like it myself.
It makes me squeamish.
Me too, and that's what's so impactful about it. I had the same reaction to Joyce. So this is the next one. I thought this was really cute too.
Yeah, I like this one a lot.
Yeah. And then here we go. Get ready.
Which one are you
Okay.
on now? The gross one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm
I
sorry.
like it. Don't want to
I'm
see this
actually
on a
getting
sign?
an odor off it when I
You're
look
getting an
at it.
odor. It's that
Yeah,
a visceral reaction.
my nose is, I'm pucker, like making that face, like, ugh.
Yeah. This actually looks like some of my sample that I had at the Heritage Day at the Trails booth. We had the fake poop and it was very real like. I think Jenny's kids had a particular interest in that poop.
Yes, Sylvan had a particular interest.
Okay,
Oh, they
so
do.
moving right along. So this next thing is the proposed map board, and a couple things to note. The QR code is a placeholder as well as the dog image. It has a Shutterstock copyright through it. And I did receive permission from SVT to use a modified version of the map that they have put out. And so at first, my one thing is, I don't know how accurate this map is of Breakneck Hill. And that's probably going to be a showstopper for us, because I don't know that we've ever had SVT address the actual trails on Breakneck Hill and whether these represent that.
Is this another file? Because it's not scrolling down. It's not on the dog waste
It's
document I had.
Is it, okay, so this might be, Freddie, if you are looking at the earlier PDF, and I apologize for sending two versions. What I did was the version I sent this morning had a consolidation of the PDFs I'd sent yesterday, whenever that was, the other day. And then, so this one has 17 pages in it. So it was sent this morning. Does anyone have their email up to give the exact timing? I can see if I can get it quickly. What date are we on?
I have 7:06.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
it.
this morning. Yeah, 7:06. So this is page
Oh,
11.
You know what? It hadn't loaded.
Oh, okay.
Great. Is this a sign we're thinking of putting up?
A map board, yes. Like a 12 by 18, 12 inches by 18 inches or something like that.
Yeah, I have a problem with posting this as is.
Okay.
Breakneck Hill, it really has some old trails that shouldn't be there.
Do you, so I don't have Breakneck Hill mapped in my brain yet. So are there trails that we could just cover up, or is this map not even going to work closely at all? Just trying to think how we could get to good enough, but
yeah, so Breakneck Hill map, I think, is poor enough that we don't want it.
okay. What I could do is try to take off all the trails on Breakneck Hill. Would that be helpful?
You want to take them off, or can you take them off and put little dotted lines in it? I mean, I don't know what's that. See where the pond is?
Yeah.
See where the trail at the edge of the B, C, and D. That's the letters we used for them. So there is no B, C, and D anymore. It's all just one. So those trails that bisect it are not good. The trail that goes on the way further over towards the pond, that's misleading, I think. Maybe it's not that bad if you could get. But do you see where it says conservation land?
Yeah.
There should be a trail going by the D of land and cutting through the sun of conservation and heading over to the pond. It's down there quite a ways.
Okay, so we'll have to work. I'll have to come up with a solution for that, because I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know that I can ask SVT. I mean, it is, I guess, yeah.
I guess here's my question. Is this a printed out one, or is this a permanently made sign with, investment?
Aluminum investment. Yeah.
And it has to be done by a certain time?
Well, we want, we could probably, I think if we had to hold this off until February, we're going to be in okay shape. We wanted to go live by Earth Day was our ideal date. And so we wanted to get signs printed and installed before Earth Day. So if we had to wait until February to make a decision here and print in March and install in March and April, that still gives us a couple months buffer. So I think we could probably be okay punting this and then addressing some issues offline without quorum and save our time here.
Yeah, because if you're going to invest in a permanent marker, it'd be nice to have the trails in the right place, but I don't know what it entails to get the trails in the right place.
Well, one thing I could do, like a shortcut, I have to be careful about what I can ask of SBT, because Trails Committee just asked SBT to write a letter of support, and there are a couple of other things. So they've done some good favors for us. So I want to be careful that I'm not overusing. So I want to try to do something for
I
that.
wasn't even thinking of SBT. I mean, what bandwidth does the town have to do it?
Well, the only reason I would say SBT is because they maintain this map, and Dan is the map maker, and he just has it in his program, and he could pretty quickly. So what I could do, Freddie, is I have a Garmin. I could go over there and map it out and send him that file, or even use All Trails and send him that file and see how that lines up, and try to get it to what we have for existing trails now. And we could.
And the only other point I would make, see the yellow in the town forest?
Yeah, it can't be, well, we're gonna have to find a way to outline that in black, because when it prints, you can't see it. Is that what you mean?
I can't see it now.
Yeah, it's hard to see. So the trouble with that, I agree, but the trail is blazed yellow. So
Is there another color yellow that stands out more?
we can certainly look for that. Yeah.
Or like you said, put some black, like maybe have a black dot yellow.
Yeah, that's smart.
Because that would make the yellow stand out more without trying to get a little outline, which would just make it messy.
I like that a lot. Thank you. Yeah, so we can do that. And then, yeah.
And
so
we need to say thank you to SVT. That's very nice.
yeah, I'd like to give them donuts. So in the interest of time, should we just fast forward through this, since we know we're going to revisit it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And so no decisions really here. This is just reiterating, and for one-stop shopping, we have, this is our town forest, the name signs we were thinking of having. I've reached out to Philip, the sign crafter, quote, and he's going to re-quote based on the 11 to 12 quantity, which may or may not bring us down in price per each. I did include this number of 11 or 12 signs in the original grant the budget, so we should be good and covered. But as we had talked about last time, we're not going to name every intersection and cut off. We're going to kind of keep that, so we may have some wiggle room here. What's new here is on the right hand side, the directional sign, 2 of those. This is the town forest sign. And where we need these is when you're coming off of Oak Hill onto Walnut, you have your nice blue sign there, but then you go down the road, you're going to go into a driveway. So you need one directional there. SVT has a directional there. So you have a reassurance that you're in the right location. You keep going, and then you have the house on your left, and then you're supposed to keep going in the woods, but you really feel like you're in someone's driveway. So we need one more reassuring directional there. Right now we have small little laminated signs they're really tiny, and they're like, go here. So that's the point of this sign. So does anyone have any thoughts on whether feedback on this particular one, the blue one?
Down on Walnut Drive?
Yep. Basically along that dirt road that you have to drive, the tiny dirt road you drive to get.
And what are you proposing?
The sign on the right, the blue sign. So that would be like an 8.5 by 11 on a tree.
I'm not seeing it. Is it the map?
It's right next to the brown sign that says copy text. It's on page 12.
I went down. I looked at this. Okay, so the one that says Southborough Town Forest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. And then our trail names we had come up with last time and took out anything that said alley, and we took out a few others. So this was our list of trail names that we wanted to use in the survey. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna note on there. There's a couple of them where, like, Sassafras, Solomon Seal, it doesn't say like trail, Sassafras Trail.
Yes, we'll want to fix that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And the
Didn't you want it to be Sassafras something?
Yeah, we would, right?
Like with Nest?
Did you say,
What?
have like the alliteration? So sassafras, something, what's an S for trail? An S word.
I mean, I don't know if there is. I think trail is fine for both of them.
Was it you, Jenny, that liked it with the same letter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, but if there isn't one, trail is fine.
And Rocky Narrow, same
Okay.
thing. So I'll fix those up.
Rocky Narrow, you don't need something, do you? Isn't narrow sort of a?
No. We like Rocky Narrow, especially
Yeah,
when we
that's
were
fine.
on it.
And so just quickly about the trail name. So we talked about waiting until the spring to release the survey so that folks could get out and, you know, explore the trail and feel and explore the forest and feel inspired. I'm not sure that's going to actually line up with what we're trying to accomplish. So I might ask the committee if we would be open to releasing this survey, say, because we want to give the sign manufacturer time to create 12 signs and maybe install those as well. So, you know, something like in February, even though people can't really go out and get inspired, they're still participating, and you know, it's
There's always a February thaw. There's always a February thaw. People can get out.
okay.
Yeah.
So we can.
So I think it's fun to ask in February.
Okay, great. And I might
So that
target.
we
Might think about before. When is February vacation? Like, isn't it like the second week of February?
I think it's the 21st. Let me.
So before then. So
Yeah, so the 21st is the Monday. So that's February vacation week.
okay. So then I would target maybe week of February 7th. So that it gives us, say, a week or so for people to respond. And I think a week is enough time. If you give people too long to respond, they will forget about it. Do you guys have a thought on that?
yeah, I think a week is fine.
Okay, great. So I'm not trying to rush us, but I recognize the time. So are we good here?
Yes.
I had one question. I had one comment just to consider.
Okay.
Southborough Town Forest with the signs, the arrows,
Yes.
and maybe it's another sign that you just tack on a tree somewhere, but what if it said to Southborough Town Forest? Or is there a way that you can say on the road, like public way? Sign on a tree nearby or something?
Put the words public way and then
Yeah.
run for cover.
Run for
Yeah.
cover? It is a public way, isn't it?
I know, but you know how it's like you're going into someone's backyard and you're like, wait, what? This is my secret path. No one knows about this. So don't put public way on there. But no, I hear you. Yeah, so let's
Or leave it alone. I was just throwing that out there. Yeah. The sign probably wouldn't stay long anyhow.
and I hope the arrows imply a little too. Do you think?
They do. They do.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
first times there, I backed out. I thought I was, trespassing.
Yeah, it's kind of uncomfortable. So, okay, great. So this next one, Joyce, do you want to talk about this one since you pulled this beauty together?
I love it.
Oh. So this is one well, actually you made it better, Kat.
I just put
So
a string around the poop.
Yeah, there is
Everything
no
else is
fairy. We've been talking about these signs as part of the educational campaign on designated like weekends where we would go with much smaller kind of thing like this on a dowel or something that we could put around to show where we have found it, or it could be one of the signs that gets kind of rotated through. It could serve both those purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just like there are prefab signs you can buy on Amazon. They're like expensive, $10 each. And if we wanted to do a campaign on a weekend and might need a lot of these that we would be putting out and then collecting, it becomes very expensive. So this we did with some clip art and for use around the property on those points when we're doing the campaign. So
I love it.
Nice job, Joyce.
Nice job.
Great, great.
The only thing I wondered, it would take away probably, it cracked me up. It's like, too bad that hand on her chest isn't holding her nose.
Yeah, that would be great. And if we have an artist in residence, I welcome someone making.
I think it might be, actually, it might be too much because that's just funny for you guys. Because it's such a sweet fairy holding the dog poop. Like, who thinks that's happening, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was just clip art from Shutterfly. It'd be nice if there was a fairy holding her nose. So if somebody's artistic or knows someone who can do that silhouette and get it into a PowerPoint with a fairy profile holding her nose, I'm all for it. But I am not that person. If it isn't in clip art,
I don't think it needs to. I don't think it needs to be changed. That's just being funny, guys.
can't.
And then
Okay.
when we see it, that's what we can see.
Yeah.
That would go really good with the one prior that has the couch.
Yes.
You know, at the same time, have some of those around because that makes the point, like, you know, leaving it on the side of the trail.
Yeah, and I think we can do these very inexpensively through having them printed and laminated and then cut, you know, in smaller sizes and then literally just attached to a dowel or a stick or something that gets stuck in the ground.
Yeah.
So some would
Could you
end up
make-
being cost, but you know.
Could you make some bigger so that people would see it big, and then when they saw the little ones, they'd know what it was?
Smart.
Yes, that
Great.
could be the case.
Parent and their
Yeah.
kid.
And on the kiosk.
Yeah. And it could be part of the rotating thing too. So a lot of these can have like multi-purpose, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Were we talking about printing them on colored paper? So I think it would really pop, like the white within that squarish, the rounded square thing would be white against colored paper.
It could be, yeah, so we could do that. I guess it depends like how we have it done, like, yeah, and then be laminated. Yeah, it could be colored paper. Sure, it could be like pinks and blues and yellows and stuff. Yeah.
Neon colors. Okay, so that's really it. We've already seen this sign. This was just kind of a placement sign from before and a proposed schedule we've already talked about. No need to go into it. We can talk about the campaign next meeting, and I can pull together some resource materials, and Joyce has some too. And the budget was just here for our reference, and that's it.
Yeah, so can we have a motion on at least the first couple of signs that we can proceed as edited in this meeting? For the
Make a motion.
welcome and, yeah,
Make a motion that all of the signs, except for the hoop scoop, as is. Didn't we agree to all of them as we had edited?
Well, except
Mhm.
Poop
As
Scoop
edited.
and Town Forest sign, that's on hold too.
Town forest sign?
Yeah, the Town Forest
The
map
map.
board's on hold till next.
Oh, the map. Yeah, we'll hold off on those and the rest you can just go for.
Okay.
Is that a motion? I
Okay,
don't think I should say. go
Town
for.
Forest map board and which one?
The Poop Scoop Yoga Poop Scoop sign will be,
Okay.
or that series of signs will be put on
Mhm.
till next.
do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, great.
That's Jenny.
All in favor? Okay, Jenny. And now I'll do the roll call. Jenny,
In favor.
Freddie,
In favor.
Pat,
In favor.
Bella,
In favor.
and I'm in favor. The motion passes. So great. We will get right on that.
Thank you for everyone's time. Appreciate it.
And so, Kat, that took us through item 4, right? Like, we're going to talk more about that next time, so we can go to town for. Is there anything else on town forest?
No, there's nothing more in Town Forest other than, in the spring, we'll have some maintenance. There's a few trees that are down, but you can walk over them and it's not a big deal.
Okay. On Breakneck Hill, I have an update on the encroachment. topic. Last time we talked about not wanting to be in the position to police the encroachment. And so Melissa and I are working on a letter to get out to some abutters on that matter. So that will probably be out by the time, and that will be, Melissa will be the signatory for the town as the one with the authority, as we discussed last time. So while we've made progress, we don't have it stamped and delivered. So nothing else on that, but it's a good time to do it because no one's mowing now, so it can be a reminder. And the other item under Breakneck Hill for discussion, tree work. So Freddie, I know you were hoping to get back out there with our orchardist for some continued work on that pruning. Is there any update to share?
I do have some updates to share. And we also, besides the pruning, we still have some tree removal that needs to happen, and I'm still working on that. But I did reach out and connect with Dennis, the orchardist, who did the trees he worked on before, I think were done really well.
Yeah.
He had a hip replacement. And so he's recovering from that. And his email today said he has to wait for another go ahead from his doctor. And then after that, he's going to take it slow to get back into the swing of things, but he'd be willing to, while he's on recuperation type exercise, movement, to meet me out there and take another walk around. And I thought that would be great once it's not so cold or icy. I'd hate to have him fall, but I do have high hopes because my younger sister ended up being almost crippled in pain, and she ended up with 2 hip replacements, and now she regularly is cross-country skiing in the White Mountains when she could barely walk before. So I have high hopes he'll be having as good a recovery as my sister did, and be working on this when he's able before the birds start nesting.
Okay, well, that's good news. And do we need to schedule a site visit because or like a walkthrough in advance? Like I could go out on a weekend and walk through with you and help mark or make decisions.
I don't think we're talking about marking the trees. I figure, you know how many times we mark the trees?
Yeah.
I think at this point, if he's able to come out whenever that is, and I'll let you know, and if you can make it, fine. If not, I personally have trust in him, and he knows the property well enough that I don't think we need to make decisions anymore.
Okay.
Unless he asks for it. I'd rather say, we know some of the trees that didn't get done before, and then the rest of it, I don't think he'll be able to finish it all anyhow. So let's see how far he goes on the ones we know he needs to finish. There were some around the pond that still needed being done, and some up on the edge of the south pasture and the trail over there. So grassland area. So, if you want to, I think we should have a site visit at some point, but I don't think we need to right now. The other thing is we didn't get the rest of the mow in, and I still need to connect with Twin Pines and or find another mow company. And we're not going to be mowing now anyhow. I think we did one last year in March. So I think we have time to recircle that. Okay.
Okay.
And we did get most of the important grassland done in the front pasture and around the pond. So that sounds good. I don't think we're in horrible shape, and I am reaching out to see if there's someone who wants to help do a plan for us to come meet with us later. All right, that's it.
Oh, okay. And then that last item was budget, and Melissa's not here, so we're gonna skip that. And I did not have anything else on the agenda for this time, so this would be an opportunity if there's something to raise or put on the agenda for us to discuss now, if there's something that needs to come to our mutual attention. Any new concerns?
Nope, not for me.
All right, well, Jeebus, I feel like we got a lot done tonight. Thank you so much. Does someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
I second, but do we need to approve the minutes from the last meeting before we finish?
Oh, did we not do that?
I think we did. I asked myself the same question, but didn't we do that at the beginning?
I don't think
I
we
was
did.
gonna
I'm pretty
move
sure we
it.
skipped it to the end.
No, we came
No,
back.
I have-
thought.
What? We
I
went
made a
back.
motion.
Oh, we did? Okay.
Yes, I have Freddie and Bella seconded.
Okay, cool. Sorry. I don't know. It was a brain
No, it's always
fart
good to
right there.
check. Thank you.
Yes.
But
Okay,
you're
so
right, because
seconded.
I had thought we had a guest to talk to us on falconry, and so I had suggested we move it. But then when she wasn't, yeah, right. So I had a little freeze on it too, like, oh my gosh, we didn't do that. So, and I will circle back with our decision on the temporary allowance for that. In the meantime,
Can I Before you
Yep.
resign, adjourn? Is that your next thing? I'm sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to see if committee agrees that if Mr. Litt had anything he wanted to say. He's been here at the meeting the whole evening, and I always like to ask anyone who's sitting here if they did. He may not want to, but if he did, have that opportunity.
Yeah. Mr. Litt, would you like to share anything?
I'm watching chat. Nope, thanks. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Thanks for attending. And the roll call on the motion to adjourn, Jenny,
In favor?
Freddie,
In favor?
Kat,
In favor.
Bella,
In favor.
and I am. The motion passes. The meeting is adjourned at 8:22. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for all the work on those signs, guys.
Yes.
It was fun.
That was a big lift.
It was fun. Thank you.